Welcome, Annette.
Yay.
Thanks for being here today. We're introducing all our experts. We're getting them out there in front of all of our members, in front of everyone.
Yes,
And
can't wait to meet you ladies.
We are so excited to have you as an expert on board. Annette is known to many as the leading female sales expert out there. Now, I've had a bit to do with you. I've sat in a few different things with you. She's coached me. Unbelievable. You wait till you see this woman. She is unbelievable.
Thank you.
So tell me, you're going to be an expert with Love You. You've got a wealth of experience when it comes to doing what you do.
Yeah.
What do you think is so important about women collaborating, getting together, being part of a pack?
I know it twofold.
Twofold.
I know it the scientific way.
Yeah.
And I know it through experience as well.
So tell us.
I knew the science first, and then I had to experience it.
Right.
Because you never get wisdom until you experience something. There's so many different studies on community and love and connection and people being together. You've got Maslow hierarchy of needs, you've got Anthony Robbins' 6 human needs. But the most profound science experiment I came across, and I've got nothing to do with wanting to harm animals for our own learnings, though this experiment just stood out for me, and it was really what I needed to hear for myself, because I was going through an experience of being detached from a community of women. And it was an experiment in the 70s on rats, and what they did was they put them all in single cages, and to see if they'll actually get addicted to cocaine. That was what the experiment was for. So they had one vial laced with cocaine, the other one was just water, and they wanted to see if cocaine was addictive. Sure enough, the test, time after time, the test came through that the rat kept drinking the water that was laced. Unfortunately, rats kept dying from the experiment, obviously they stopped the experiment. Then in 78, a professor, I think his name is Professor Michael Smith, he came along and he said, this isn't a normal situation of a rat.
Yeah.
This is not the environment a rat should be in. He said, what if we were to do the experiment again and we were to put the rat in what we call rat park, and we give them a community of things that fulfill them. We give them friends, we give them mates, we give them things that they love to do, like the little rain scampers, we give them food, we give them everything that fulfills a rat's life. And let's just see what happens then if they drink from the vial. Sure enough, every rat that tasted the vial did not drink the vial of cocaine afterwards. They continually drank the water. No rats died from the experience.
Wow.
And it showed the importance of community and fulfillment and having things in your life.
Yeah.
And the reason why that experiment was so profound for me was because after I had my son, I had one goal and one goal only, besides being a great mum, was I wanted to be the top of my game for my business. I was scared I was going to fall off my perch. So I took myself out of anything that distracted me, except for my number one goal, which was my business. So I became isolated, I became overweight, I became depressed. Even though I was succeeding in business, I did not have a community of women to be around, and I was isolated. So that then drove me to overeating, having sugar, too much alcohol, putting on weight. And when I came across that study, I realised that it had nothing to do with the sugar, nothing to do with the alcohol. It was my environment that was not good.
Yeah.
So that's a long answer.
It's a long answer, but it's a great answer. And a really good friend of mine who's a psychologist, she was talking about this to me, the benefits of women going through cancer together. So there's studies and statistics showing women that have cancer and go through the treatment, with other women around them and friends and family around them, have far better chance of beating the cancer than women that don't. Wow. So it just goes to show, it's really important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And even though I knew it scientifically, I knew all the studies, I even taught the stuff, Maslow hierarchy of needs, I taught it, but I had to experience it.
Yeah.
And as soon as I experienced it and came across another study, I was like, right, that is the one thing that needed to change in my life.
Yeah. Yeah, it is really powerful. So, sort of heading on from that, we've got a lot of mums, we've got in our community and already. If you've got a son,
Mm-hmm.
so you would have experienced that feeling of, you know, being at home and you've got a new baby
Mm-hmm.
and you're feeling a little bit stuck.
Mm-hmm.
How do you encourage women to get out there? How do you encourage them to become part of this community and sort of make it a bigger world for them so they don't end up feeling like
I think the first thing is that we all learn off each other anyway.
Yeah.
So for me, the friends that I did create in that time as soon as I became a mother were actually mothers.
Yeah.
But it was through Facebook, so it wasn't the belly-to-belly, face-to-face stuff. And that's the difference as well, because we're getting so blocked now with social media. Well, we think that's building a relationship, but energetically it's not 100% there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's kind of what we're saying to people. Get away from your computer and physically come and meet up with other women.
Yeah, because nothing replaces that energy. So I would be saying to the ladies as advice, your question was, how do you do it? It's making yourself just push yourself off the edge of that cliff for the first time, because you will not know what the experience is like until you put yourself there. Yeah. And there's been so many times I run workshops and seminars and do all that type of stuff, and I notice so many people when I say, put up your hand if you were thinking about hitting the snooze alarm or not coming in today. And I run a lot of free events, and those events, that's easy for a person to say, I want to go, but then on the day they don't. Yeah. And the amount of people that put up their hand and then at the end we say, how many of you are glad you actually made yourself get in today, is 100%. Because it's about getting yourself uncomfortable for an experience for the very first time, to actually experience what you don't know. And as we said before, nothing replaces energy. Energy, that face-to-face, that just makes an individual step up. It makes the female, the mum, all my mums out there, it's like, it's having that conversation again, and having that conversation with women that can impart stuff that maybe you didn't know about motherhood, or you just needed to hear, or even more importantly, your message was a message that another person was meant to hear because you helped them. Yeah.
I mean, it's like getting into, I remember when I had my first child and I was in a mother's group, and I was kind of thinking, oh, this is my worst nightmare, going like and meeting these women and
See, I was too busy for the mother's group.
Yeah, and I was still working, and I was thinking, and anyway, so then one of my girlfriends said, just go, like you never know. Now, I ended up with a group of 5 of us. We still meet now, and my daughter's just turned 12, and I cannot tell you, we met every Friday until the kids started school. We all had kids together, and it is one of the most amazing groups of women that I know. You know, that it's just incredible. And we were able to just get together every Friday and just put the kids in a room and talk about how crap the week was and what went wrong and everything that went wrong. So it's sort of similar in that, you know,
it is
where you just come together, and a huge problem can just end up being not much. Yeah. You know,
there's 7 levels of intimacy, and I'm not talking about sex or anything like that. I'm talking about intimacy as in intimate conversations. And level 7 is when you share your pain, your fears, your concerns, and that's the deepest level of a relationship, the building blocks. So when you're saying that with the mothers group and with the Love You girls coming together, it's not pretending anything's pretty on the surface, because we don't build relationships like that. It's like getting to the nitty-gritty of what you need to improve in your life, and everyone else has got the same problems as well. Yeah,
and I think that's why, you know, we've got these 10 categories that we're following, and all the experts sort of slot in. Some slot into like 5 categories, some slot into 2. We've covered off everything that anyone could possibly have an interest in.
Love you.
Love you. So it's really exciting, and we're really excited to see you at an event. Now tell me, if I was to ask you if you had a life theme song, what would it be?
I have lots of life theme songs.
I've heard that you're a pretty good rapper. Actually, I may have seen you rap.
All right. So, you know, if I was to go, okay, what's a pop song that's a life theme song? I'd probably go the song "I Will Survive." That one, because no matter what your day is, or what time of year you're having, what experience you're having through that year, you always get through it, right? But I love to write my emotions, and I have theme raps and songs for, you know, and normally the hardest times is when I write. And that's like the theme for that month or for that year or for that era that I'm going through.
So this is like a process you go through. If whatever you're going through, you write
I would feel this urge. So I started coaching women one-on-one with sales instead of staff and the corporates. And women in business go into business because they love what they do, but they didn't want to be the salesperson.
Yeah.
So I wrote this song, which is now, I understand that your business is a representation of yourself, and I'm here to go and take it top shelf. And I go through a song that talks about them breaking through their fears.
Yeah.
And that was it's just like I was needed to regurgitate it. But then one of my theme songs was like the biggest and most pivotal time in my life, which was going from an employee to entrepreneurship.
Yeah. And
that one was the highs and lows we go through as a woman. So do you want me to give you a bit of it?
Please.
So if you listening, if have been employed and you've stepped into your own business, or perhaps you had to walk away from employment because you wanted to be at home more and be with your kids, maybe you'll understand it, but it's the highs and lows. And I start off with me being really close to my boss and him not wanting to spread my own wings and leave.
Right.
And it says, you and I have a special bond together. I was an employee, but I couldn't work for him forever. It was time for this entrepreneurial girl to spread her wings, to find out what living a business dream really means. See, creating a business is like backing yourself. You got to take care of it like you're looking after your own health. Pushing everything aside so your business stays alive. That's what you got to do to make the money thrive. Now when it's time to drop the bomb and bring the funk to the song. But then I go through like the highs and lows because, you know, as a woman, I think we are so much more emotional and we need to communicate. And this talks about the lows in business that you have if the money's not coming in and you know it's a great business idea and you think, what the hell's going on? Like for me, it was like a part of me was dying inside. My business wasn't working at the start. So I started to use my music just to get that message out there, even though it was my theme song for a time. I know when I'm on the stage and I'm delivering a message, that theme song will help somebody else.
What do people say to you? Because you're so gorgeous. And when I met you, I was like, a rapper? I just couldn't get the two together. And when I went and Googled you, I was just like, this is fantastic. And I remember getting off a plane and we were going to the Commonwealth Games and I was with my partner and I was showing him we were in a restaurant and I was showing him and he was just like, wow. But what do you get from people?
Look, I'm not like the hardcore, rapper. Where I love hardcore rap music, but for me, I have more of a feeling of sophisticated funk, so I still like to dress more femininely. But I might wear a headscarf, but it's a tasteful headscarf, and the earrings and all that type of stuff. But I think it's a bit of the yin and yang when people meet me. But I don't like to fit in a box. Like I'm just not put in a box type person.
No,
even when you
not.
introduce me as, which is the tagline, which is known to many as Australia's female leading salesperson. It's still, I do so much more than that, but we teach for marketing, dress the door with something. And that's a hard thing. It's like, I might not dress like a hardcore rapper.
So what do you got to say to all those people out there that are watching us now?
Oh, gosh. I would say probably the biggest thing that I've learned is I used to dim my light many times to make other people feel comfortable.
Really?
Which meant I would not sometimes wear the clothes I wanted to wear. I didn't want to look as sexy as I wanted to wear. Or I might have liked stuff, but maybe it was a little bit big for those clothes. And I gave my son advice once. Something happened. He's only 4 years old, but something happened with some kids, talking to him, not in a nice way. And I said to him, don't ever dim your light for anyone. You be you. And if they can't handle you, hand them a pair of shades. You shine. And when I said that to him, it was like I was saying it to me, and it was reminding myself of, just be you. Be you.
They teach you some good lessons, these kids.
Yeah, it does. Like you give them advice and I'm thinking, I need to listen to this.
Yeah. Or you're looking at something that really irritates you about them and then you kind of have to go, whoa, it's me.
That is so true.
Well, thank you. Thank you for today.
Absolute pleasure.
Can't wait to see you.
I can't wait to see the ladies too.